You don't have to go digging that much on YouTube to find professional YouTubers posting their behind the scenes videos of their dream studios. The crisp environment, the modern tech, the cinematic lighting, the high-end cameras, the espresso machines. I mean, can you even call yourself a YouTuber if you don't own an espresso machine? Okay, I'm just kidding. I don't mean to knock professional YouTubers for having nice things and nice studio setups. If anything, it gives people like me something to look forward to in the future. But in the world of ordinary people, like myself, I don't have thousands of dollars to spend on nicer equipment or to rent a better studio space. I don't even have an extra room in my house to convert into a studio. So today, I'm gonna run you through my studio setup here at home, the gear that I use, how I chose my background, how I make all this work. I hope that this will help you make your videos look a little bit less like they were filmed in a haunted attic. Unless that's what your channel's about, which is really scary. So let's start off with a tour of the space. This is our apartment right here. Coffee bar over here, kitchen, living room, bathroom in there, bedroom. So that concludes the tour of our apartment. Thanks for joining today. The good news about it being so small and restrictive is that really I only have two options, kitchen or living room. From here, from my niche with filmmaking, I really want to choose a background that is clean, is organized, is aesthetically pleasing, and not distracting to my viewer. You know, I could go over here on the couch. That's a little bit too comfy looking, a little too homey for what my channel is about. So that pretty much eliminates everything else in the apartment, the kitchen, this couch and the wall. I think I'm gonna have to land on this area right here, which honestly is kind of a no-brainer. I mean, I've got a modern looking desk. I've got, you know, some shelves with books. I've got some lenses up there. I've got camera stuff over here. What I'll do is I'll kick the TV on. I'll choose a aesthetically pleasing background, like a library or a coffee shop or something like that, that kind of fits with the vibe of, like, you know, this area, the desk, the wooden shelves, the books, everything else. All right, you dirty little gear snobs. Now it's time for the part of the video that you've been waiting for, which is today's sponsor, my gear. Seriously, I mean, this video would not be possible without my, you know, camera and mic and, you know, lighting. So once I have my background selected and where it is that I'm gonna film in my house, usually what my first step is setting up my camera. The camera that I am using for this setup is my Lumix S5. If you've followed me for a while, you'll know that I film most of my videos on the Lumix S5. It's just an awesome camera that has a lot of pro video features for the price. But to be honest, even filming YouTube videos on an S5 for an everyday YouTuber might be a little bit overkill. Really all you need is an iPhone or a smartphone. Don't underestimate what your phone can do, and don't overestimate what a camera upgrade can do, because a lot of times you're gonna run into the same problems, even newer problems of figuring out, you know, how the new camera works. It's gonna take longer to set up because you're gonna have to dial in all your settings manually. It's gonna record at higher data rates. So now, you know, with an SD card and you're filming in 10-bit log 4K footage, you're gonna really rack up storage versus if you just use your phone, that's a lot more data efficient. So that's one thing to think about. You don't need to upgrade to a better camera just to get better quality. First, focus on your lighting and then your sound. Once I've got my camera in place and once I have the shot framed how I want it, my next step is gonna be to set up lighting. And when it comes to visual quality, no matter what camera you use, whether you're using your iPhone or you're using a high-end cinema camera like a lot of big name YouTubers use, lighting is gonna make the difference. It's going to make your shot look amateur or professional, depending on if you do it right. And in this setup right here, really it's nothing fancy. A lot of the lights that you see are cheaper lights. I'm using a technique called 2-point lighting. I've got my main key light right here which is hitting my face at about a 45-degree angle on the edge of my head right here, and my forehead kind of spilling onto my forehead a little bit. I have a hair light or a backlight mounted up on top of the bookshelf. And also, I've got a couple of practicals behind me. I've got a $15 lamp that I picked up at Target. It's bicolor, it's dimmable, it's really small and compact, which is great for minimal desk setups like what I have going on behind me here. I've also got, you'll see that orange light is my Aperture MC, and I have it adjusted to an orange hue because it contrasts with the kind of cool tone, this white cool tone from my lamp, getting like adjacent colors or contrasting colors there for just a little bit more visual interest. You don't need to have all of this in your shot. If you really wanted to strip away these extra lights, you wouldn't really need to have a 3 or a 2-point lighting setup. Mainly what you want is to have a good key light that is nice and bright, nice and big and diffused, that really makes your skin look soft and glow and not harsh. Let's transition now away from lighting to talk about audio. For audio, what I'm using is I've got the Rode Video Micro mounted just off frame above my head, and then I've got a auxiliary extender cable running between the Rode Video Micro going all the way into my camera. And this way it allows me to have some distance. I can distance myself from the camera, but also have the mic mounted closer to me. So you want to make sure to separate the mic from your camera body and get the mic mounted as close to where your mouth is as possible. This is what it would sound like if the mic were mounted on the camera. And this is what it sounds like with the mic boomed just off frame above my head. You always want to get your audio correct. So use a mic, but make sure that it is mounted on a stand away from your camera, closer to where you're sitting, because you want the proximity of the mic to be as close to your mouth as possible. That way, the mic is going to pick up more of your voice and a little bit less of the room noise. And that's really going to wrap it up for today. That concludes my setup. Now you've seen how I set up for my YouTube videos and how you can better your quality for your videos at home. You really don't need to have that much extra gear. You do need to have some, especially if you're wanting to get a specific look. You might have to get a couple of extra lights to throw in the background. You might have to purchase a better key light. I've paid for all of my gear myself. I am not in any debt. I did not take out any loans or get into any credit card debt with buying more expensive cameras or lighting equipment. And if you have, that's totally fine. But just me personally, I like to avoid debt. And so all of these gear items that you've seen are a little bit more on the cheaper end, but this is a good starting place for most beginners. I hope this was helpful to you. If it was, man, you already know what to do. Subscribe to the channel. Or don't. If you just wanted to watch this for fun, it's totally cool. It's up to you. If you do, and if you happen to turn on notifications, then maybe I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.